Gee, Donkey Kong has not given us break, huh, when it comes to surrounded by butterflies once again. Hey, what's up everybody? It is I am the one and only Maxi here once again, and I am back for once again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong 64 for the Nintendo 64. So, last time we've essentially did somehow manage to able to completely done with everything in terms of jungle japes. And occasionally though we did come across into several of those accomplishing missions, or to be more specifically though, we did somehow manage to able to obtain quite a few golden bananas in journey forms within DK Isles. So today, for this video, is the fact that we're about to be able to go back into Angry Aztec for the final time, because obviously now we've actually got Donkey Kong in our hands, so this also means we can pretty much also guarantee that we will able to 100% everything on this world as well. So yeah, let's actually access this particular area we haven't been to before yet. So in some cases though, the good thing we've actually equipped the pineapple shooter, so that means we can now able to actually do the next objective, and at the same time grab some more green bananas for Donkey Kong. So I believe in this particular objective right here is the fact that we need to deliver certain pots of vase or owns, as far as I'm aware, and able to place them in the correct spots. Like for instance, I've actually picked up the triangle shaped own, and basically we need to place that in a corresponding panel. So, and remember to repeat when it comes to the other three vases or urns to be more specific. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory if you manage to know what you're doing. I think if you somehow managed able to accidentally drop the urn into the quicksand, if I recall correctly, that basically though, I think it attempted to break, and I think it will actually respawn or something. Well, mind you, I haven't tested this out for myself, because obviously I've already completed this on my own time on the original cartridge version, so I don't think there's any point I can able to demonstrate it right now, because it's pretty obvious that I've somehow completed it. So of course, we need to able to be, still need to collect some more golden bananas for not only for Tiny Kong, but also Lanky Kong as well, and hopefully by that time that, wow, Angry Aztec is going to be completed due time. We're not exactly sure how long this will take, unlike the forms of how it does it in Jungle Japes, although I'm sure enough though we will able to actually get this down in no time or something like that, with no time flat or something. So anyway, so I think we've basically already done in this area right now, so we can just, well, dive straight into the outside portion of Angry Aztec. So anywho though, and while we're at it though, let me go ahead and get rid of this DK dirt, because obviously with the charged up attack, mainly trying to able to belch for Donkey Kong, and hopefully we'll grab, can I just, there we go, that way we'll get ourselves some more banana coins for any Kong for that matter. So anyway, so now it's done with that, and now we need to find the pineapple switch, so that way we need to able to actually access this particular temple with Donkey Kong, and yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything. So and as a result though, after we're done with this particular world though, I'm afraid I'm going to tell you for this point guys, the next world after this though might actually be one of my least favorite worlds in the game, just because of this very annoying mechanic. But ultimately speaking though, if you ever played other games utilizing the forms of this annoying mechanic, ranging from, let's just say, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, or Majora's Mask, you know exactly what I'm about to say. So anyway, so let's go inside in this temple right here, because obviously we can now able to actually just to explore other areas during the forms of certain temples alike, including by the forms of those remaining temple sections, which we'll probably save that until for later. So anyways, and I get the strong feeling I do need some more health, because obviously that I keep on getting hit most of the time with that, you know, the quicksand and all that stuff. But either way though, that might be something that's like, might not actually be kind of obvious for that point, but I've honestly have no words to say. So yeah, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is the fact that, well, today's date is of course the 23rd of January today, in this case in 2023 today. So that means double of 23s basically. Well, in regards to the forms of, despite I ignored 01 and 20 by the forms of that particular well, I don't know what to explain about this, because I know for a fact it's been about 3 days ago now since I actually last played this, because straight to the point that both Mighty and Ray are both pretty much come towards the end game now for the Mario Slam Basketball Let's Play right now. So hopefully you're able to actually get the actual Let's Play finished before we move on to other selections of Let's Plays, including redo Let's Plays and all that stuff with much more better quality than any forms of how it does it back in the old days. So, well, despite the fact that in the old days though, well, it's alright and such, except with this very average quality back in the day. Well, mind you, that was 2013 all the way up to 15, mind you, because in 2011 all the way up to 2012, that it actually feels a bit rough around the edges, especially with the quality is actually a lot worse than the phones of right now. So, but I digress. So in this particular challenge right here, obviously we do need able to clear out most of these enemies once again, except only Chunky Kong can able to actually do this challenge. So, and kind of think about it, this particular area does remind me of something related to Piglet's Big Game almost. Like, after when you deal with a whole bunch of enemies, then the actual thing decides to flip over until you're able to move on to the next section. Yeah, it does remind me of something related to Piglet's Big Game almost. But either way though, speaking of such though, is the fact that this year will marks not only the 20th anniversary of Piglet's Big Game on the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube and the PlayStation 2 versions, but also the movie itself as well, based off from the likes of, well, you know what I'm saying about the fact that this year will also mark its 20th anniversary of the release of Piglet's Big Movie, which I do enjoy back in the day, but looking back in it right now, it just feels like a compilation of certain stories from the past memories or something. Well, I know for a fact that in the video game it's almost loosely based off from the movie, but as a result though, that might be something worth conceptually speaking. So, anyways, let's grab ourselves, you know, what else? A banana balloon to pop for Chunky Kong, and seems that my aiming shot wasn't exactly helping me today. And look at that, we've gone back to 64 number, so awesome number indeed, especially considering that, you know, this is the Nintendo 64 game, of course. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and swim back to these different sections throughout. So just to ensure that we will double check on certain parts in the future, just to ensure that we actually got everything, basically, because I refuse to able to actually just do like, well, it wasn't until whenever we get to the next world though, that the next world though might also experience about the fact that how I'm not looking forward to the next world after this though, that it actually has a lot of emphasis on backtracking, and not only that, it's a lot larger than it falls of how it does on the previous world so far, at least as far as I'm concerned. So, anyway, so now let's go ahead and explore for this particular location. So in some cases though, yeah, something tells me we need to become a lot larger, and then we need to able to find a rock to pick up, and we can probably able to expect that we do need able to deal with something with this particular random object that we do need to able to fiddle around with. So let's just say, oh yeah, there's the rock over there. So we'll just not toss it because that will be unnecessary, but we need to pick it up and deliver it right over to that particular pedestal as we saw familiar. So we'll just go ahead and well, try to place it down. I think in order to able to press it down, or just essentially just, you know, put it down for large objects, I believe you have to press the Z button, because if you press the B button, you're essentially going to be tossing the object instead of putting it down. So, and from here, this is where we stumbled across another golden banana challenge. So, but only Chunky Kong can do this though, so I wonder what challenge are we going to be facing off against today. Well, to start things off with this particular part anyway, so let's see what we got.
Welcome to bonus stage.
Okay, this is interesting. Busy Barrel Barrage. So basically in this minigame challenge is the fact that we do need to survive within a time limit while simply trying to take down certain enemies while we actually got ourselves an infinite amount of ammo. So this means that the ammo system in this minigame is unlimited. So you can just basically just shoot whatever you know, Kremlings you're able to try to kill. So, yeah, but the catch is, though, is the fact that if the Kremlings do dare touches you or attacking you, you have to start all over again with the minigame. So, yeah, it's a bit, button mashy and stuff like that, but it's actually kind of fun. But it might be pretty tricky sometimes, especially depending on the enemy AI pattern does manage to come into play. But when you do manage to survive for this though, then you would able to receive, what else? A golden banana. So I think so far this one might actually be the third Chunky Kong's golden banana in this world. So yeah, that's definitely one of them. So 77. Gee, it feels like we're getting quite close to 100 golden bananas for sure. So, hopefully though, we will definitely be able to actually make it happen. Well, it wasn't until whenever we get to my least favorite world in the game coming up, which, honestly guys, it's just I'm not looking forward to the next world after this. Like, you know what I mean, with all that backtracking issues, and on top of that, you have to deal with so much stuff you got to deal with, so... But at least on the upside is though, we've almost done with the forms of collecting every single bananas for Chunky Kong at the very least. So at least that's that. And also we can potentially try to get ourselves the banana medal at some point. Well, assuming about the fact that we can probably able to explore certain spots throughout. So let's just swing from vine to vine, just in case we don't want to get hit by too many quicksands everywhere. And all that stuff though. So, oh, there are some more bananas there at least. So, oh, just about one banana left. And so, whenever we get ourselves the banana medal for Chunky Kong. And I think exponentially though is the fact that, well, despite the fact that we're missing a couple of those bananas with Tiny Kong and stuff like that, well, we can able to actually still guarantee to get the banana medal for Tiny Kong, if I recall correctly. But we shall see what happens there. So, and I somehow misjudged my jumps right there, but that's okay. So, anyways, let's get into the forms of the continuation of that particular 5 Monkey Trials temple. Because I'm pretty sure we've already tackled through not only Lanky Kong, but also Diddy Kong, as well as Donkey Kong. So now we can able to actually do not only Chunky Kong right here, but I think we sort of missed out on Tiny Kong though, on the other hand. So we're definitely gonna have to able to save Tiny Kong for last. And is also the reason why we did somehow manage to able to save Tiny Kong for last. It's most likely because of that particular ability we do need to learn first or something. So, or maybe something else entirely. Or perhaps even maybe because of the forms of that particular Banana Fairy camera function we do need to able to actually access to. So... because after all, we've now got the camera, so that also means we will definitely gonna have to find, you know, just the usual 2 banana fairies. So, yeah, that pretty much summed up as such. And also, for some reason, I'm having a hard time trying to able to toss those oranges to able to get rid of those pesky enemies like these. But, at the very least, I did somehow manage to kill one of them, so that's saying something. But, yeah, and, not much else to talk about, I'm afraid, as I said before. Although, originally though, I was expecting to try to able to mention something related to Mario Kart Tour today. But of course, I get the strong sense of feeling that I think we'll let Sonic will able to mention more about it until when he goes back onto Ape Escape tomorrow. So relatively speaking though, it's just about the fact the matter is though is that, well, we're getting very close towards the end of the forms of the Space Tour during that some form or another until 2 days time. So, but even then though, again I'll let Sonic will mention more about what the next tour is going to be and during it some point in 2 days time. So even then though, that I might still able to actually get screwed over by not only the stupid tier system, but also with the forms of bad controls and all that stuff, but still, I can't really necessarily have to complain all the time. But anyway, oh, so it looks like we've only got about 6 bananas left, so, gee, I wonder what the last 6 might be. So, first off, let me go ahead and get ourselves another rainbow banana coin right here as Chunky Kong. So, relatively speaking though, we can essentially try to able to... Wow, seems like we actually got so many of those banana coins so far. Like, I don't know if we can able to spend on some of these stuff anytime soon. Oh, speaking of such though, there's that familiar enemy again. And we can potentially get ourselves, what else? The next blueprint. So, for Chunky Kong. So... Anyway, so we do need to activate that switch, by the way, in case if you want to progress. So in some cases, though, yeah, it seems like I'm having a hard time trying to activate it, though. And god dang it, those staircases just somehow managed able to block my aiming, so... There we go. Because I almost first thought that was going to open up somewhere to the left and right, but it turns out it did open one of those sections coming up, which pretty much leads us to the forms of the next golden banana, basically. But not just by the forms of the golden banana, on the other hand, because I get the strong feeling that, well, assuming if we're able to approach one, well, basically, there's a bonus barrel right here, which leads us to another minigame called Crumbling Koshi. Or Kosh, as what it says anyway. So basically though, think of like whack-a-mole, except the fact that we need to take down an insane amount of Kremlings as possible. But honestly, out of all the actual minigame challenges in the whole game, this one's by far the easiest, mainly because of the forms of how the fact that, well, it might still get pretty tough later on though, but for the most part I found this one to be self-explanatory to deal with, because all you're really doing is just keep shooting those Kremlings, and then if you, as usual, running out of watermelons, then obviously there's a watermelon reload station in the center, so again, it's just whack-a-mole, except you're able to take down Kremlings instead of moles, so there we go. And naturally, we've only got one more golden banana left for, how dare you, Zinger, for able to knock me back. Anyway, so I get the feeling we've only got one more golden banana left for Chunky Kong. So, yeah, everything else will be pretty much accounted for Chunky Kong at the very least. So, anyway, so let's get out of this temple again because of that "get out" voice just somehow spoke to me. So... seriously, I just really love that particular voice because it sounds a little bit more intimidating if you ever achieve the golden banana. But eventually, until the later worlds though, he will make it bring back until at some point in the future. But we're not going to mention about it right now. So anyway, so now we're done with him for now. So well, except the fact that we're still missing 6 regular bananas with Chunky Kong though still, but hopefully though we will get around to that eventually. So anyway, so now we'll switch over to Tiny Kong, because it seems very obviously about the fact that we can now able to tackle through the final section. Oh, something I just realized, that yeah, I somehow missed out on quite a few bananas over towards those plum trees, which I suppose I was expecting to able to try to find some of these things during the forms of the beginning portion of Angry Aztec, but for whatever reason I somehow got distracted by, you know, multiple factors around here, so but hopefully though we can able to actually obtain these as much as possible. But now, despite the fact that, as you realize, that I somehow got a lower amount of bananas for Tiny Kong, that's only mainly because I somehow spent quite a lot of bananas for Tiny Kong during the forms of trying to take on the second boss in the game. So that's why the number differs ever since last time we experienced, you know, Angry Aztec. So, and from here we're able to get ourselves of course, another banana medal. And for whatever reason, once again, the music doesn't seem to able to show up until now. Seriously, it's all about the forms of the actual emulation issues with the lag and everything, which I'm not exactly sure how do I bring this though. But either way though, at the very least we can able to actually just go ahead and get started with the final section of the 5 trials of the temple with these 5 monkeys combined. So, or 5 Kongs to be more specifically. So, anyways, let's go ahead and shoot the feather right here and take on the, you know, the final trial. So, and once that's been done, then we can pretty much guarantee we can able to wrap things up everything in this temple. So, although we still got a lot of things to tackle through, thanks to the forms of that llama temple, we can probably able to expect a Chamber visit. So, anywho, and of course, Zingers do make a return here, so, oh boy. And now they start able to drop bombs at us, so. And also something tells me that I'm also able to figure there's going to be a banana fairy in there. So, because I can definitely tell from that particular laughter right there that's coming from that tiny hole right here, and then we can obviously take a picture and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll get ourselves a... Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, this needs to able to... There we go. Sometimes, you know, taking pictures is a bit tricky to able to pull this off, but thankfully we have accomplished it, so... And I think that basically does it from here. Now, there's technically another side of this as well. Excuse me? Now, there's technically another side right there, which you can also fit through, but I think it seems kind of pointless to able to double check in here, because I'm pretty sure all it gets in here, though, is just basically, well, I can assure to you, some more camera rolls, so, yeah, that's essentially how you can get in here, so, kind of pointless to explore from here, but that's just the way of how it's supposed to be, I suppose, so... Anyway, so now let's go ahead and continue things on here, and of course activate the feather switch if we decided to. But oh wow, I just realized we've actually got 60 purple banana coins for Tiny Kong. I just realized, and before we obtain the golden banana though, I just need to double check what's in here. All I guess is just crystal coconuts and, of course, the purple banana coin, and that's pretty much about it, so... Seems kind of pointless to able to go into the right side, but at the very least the left side will give us something that's very rewarding, and only one more golden banana left for Tiny Kong, so... We still need able to do some more stuff with Lanky Kong though, but hopefully we'll get around to that eventually though, so... Then of course we do need to get out of here for the final time, because now we've actually done with every single spot in terms of this particular temple. So, nicely done and easy going. So now we've actually done with that, and now we can able to continue things on for this point, so... Anywho. Although, kind of thinking about it, it has been a very long while since we actually experienced this world, though I'm not exactly sure about the fact that we actually did somehow manage to able to get every single bananas as Tiny Kong, but hopefully we will get to that point at some point if we do somehow manage to able to, you know, get into the forms of the Lumber Temple, which hopefully we can able to experience that, so... And speaking of such though, there's the Lumber Temple right here, so we can able to expect that we'll able to get inside there. Oh yeah, something's worth mentioning though, in terms of the forms of, you know, certain things to discuss, is the fact that I can't even believe by saying this, is that it's been 10 years ago since the actual Nintendo Direct, during the forms of only focusing on the Wii U Direct, like back in during the forms of been the 23rd of January in 2013. Like, I do remember that time about the fact that they did show us the forms of some more information about the forms of certain details about the Miiverse does manage to able to exist. Well, it technically first introduced this when the Wii U first launched, and then they show us some more features here and there. And on top of all that stuff, though, is the fact that I do remember that time where, well, despite the fact that back in 2013, like early 2013, despite the fact that I was been busy playing through not only Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, but also New Super Mario Bros. U as well, the first two Wii U games I somehow own, when I started to play my Nintendo Wii U, obviously. And it's been about, you know, 10 years since I actually got my Wii U, despite the fact that we actually ended up choosing the white basic set, despite it doesn't have that much memory, which is kind of a shame, honestly, because I would love to able to get the black deluxe set, or premium set, as what's known in the European version, but unfortunately, though, I didn't get the chance to able to get that version, so... But anyway, I do remember that time where... Excuse me? Gee, every time whenever I activate something while the cutscene decides to load, and then basically though, all I'm getting is just keep on getting hit by a lot of enemies during when that cutscene triggers, so that's a bit unfair for most of the time. But whatever, at least we somehow made it to this point right here, so... Anywho, so, and also I do remember that time about the fact that they did show us a first look at the forms of that particular Yoshi game is going to be approaching onto the Wii U. Well, it did originally called Yon Yoshi back in 2013, but then I do remember we have to wait for a ridiculous amount of long time when it comes to, like, hopefully we're able to receive some more details and updates for the forms of that new Yoshi game, as what most people seem to own about. But it wasn't until when E3 2014 becomes a thing, and then basically though, it actually renamed it in Yoshi's Woolly World. So, yeah, that means kind of substantial kind of thing about it. So, anywho though. So yeah, looks like we've got every single golden bananas for Tiny Kong, so I'm pretty sure we're done with her. So, relatively speaking though, everything else will be pretty much accounted for at this rate, so... And also I just realized I'm somehow missing something right here, which appears to be something related to those banana port pads, so hopefully we'll try to find that if we somehow manage to go back for it, so... Because, yeah, I do remember that time when, Yon Yoshi was first, announced during the forms of that Wii U games, presentation at Nintendo Direct for about 10 years ago. That, I do remember that the gameplay footage, looking back in it right now, it plays a lot differently than the forms of how it does it, or even not only the gameplay, but also with the forms of the entire aesthetics looks a lot differently compared to the forms of how it does it in the actual Yoshi's Woolly World, during the forms of the final release of the game until 2015 on the Wii U version. So, or generally speaking, the 2017 port to the 3DS. So, relatively speaking though, is the fact that I do found this a little bit odd looking back, that at first glance, it may look incredibly similar to Kirby's Epic Yarn when it comes to the aesthetics, about the forms of the first look of the gameplay back in 2013, but then I found out that in the 2013 gameplay footage was actually almost inspired by Yoshi's Island. But it wasn't until in 2014 all the way up to 15, well in 2014 that we've obviously got, you know, the demo showcase for Yoshi's Woolly World back in 2014, but then the game came out in 2015, which I still really enjoy the game, don't get me wrong, which as a result though, that certain, well, a lot of stuff has been changed, since then. So, yeah, time flies, kind of think about it, when it comes to knowing, you know, the differences between when it first revealed, and then it somehow managed able to change, well, I don't know why I'm saying for this point, because I know for a fact it's been a very long while since I'm knowing comparing to the forms of, when it first announced, and then finalize it in during the forms of future time, but either way, that might be saying something, so... Anywho though, so and also I do remember that time when they first announced the Wonderful 101, in this case made by Platinum Games basically, although I wasn't really interested with the game though, mainly because I'm more into Mario and Sonic stuff most likely. Although it's actually a pretty cool idea, but relatively speaking though, that's how back in 2013, I didn't actually pick up the Wonderful 101 back in the day in 2013. I have no idea why, probably because I feel like that the entire gameplay mechanic on the Wonderful 101, although it's interesting in theory, but I found it a little bit clunky to play at times, but that's just me. But at least it's interesting to be able to look back on the forms of the first announcement when it comes to those things. And speaking of such though, I do remember that time when they shown us, you know, some brief gameplay footage of, let's just say Bayonetta 2 or something. Well, mind you, that I wasn't really introduced to Bayonetta stuff until when Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS managed able to bring her as the new playable character during the forms of that particular fighter, the last DLC fighter for Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS and for the Wii U. So, yeah, that might be something worth noting for. So, actually, I'll get some more details on that in a second, because here we have a memory matching game. So basically, all we have to do here is the fact that we need to use Lanky Kong for this, and basically it's up to you to able to find the correct matching sounds depending on the forms of... Well, it's pretty simple actually, because if you can tell with the sound, then basically though, you would able to get this correct, so... Yeah, that's basically all this is, so... And then if you obviously match the forms of that particular same sound effects as one and the other, then obviously you would be able to actually do this like, let's just say for about 8 times, if I'm assuming so. So, yeah, it's actually pretty easy. Because thankfully, if you made one wrong move, then basically though, luckily you don't go all the way to the start of the forms of that particular sequence, because you can essentially continue where you left off, basically, so... But, yeah, for the most part, it's actually pretty easy and self-explanatory if you manage to able to know what this is going on, so... And I think... Oh, you stupid crumbling right there! Die! Okay, let me just, go ahead and get this over and done with. Oh, come on! You just let me decide able to fell into the lava before I get hit multiple times. That's it. Let me obtain that, and then if I've done the victory dance, and I can kill you. So, where are you? Well, first of all, I'll let you die, and there we go. You deserve to die. After you knocked me twice. That was very unexpected. Especially that, like I said before, that every now and then that the enemy respawn points to somehow manage to become instantaneous. Well, it's not so much instantaneous, but it's more accurately lasted for about 20 seconds or so. So, which again, I wasn't expecting to see how this is going to turn out. So, either way, that's saying something, so... Anyway, and also I do remember that time when they first, you know, announced something, you know, something more accurately like new updates in terms of the Wii U. Like, I remember back in the day, in 2012, that apparently a lot of people seemed able to complain about the forms of how slow it was to able to actually not only dive straight into the game with the actual Wii U games themselves, but also just trying to get back to the Wii menu, because I remember that time that the loading times are much longer than the forms of how it does it as far as the future updates goes. But I do remember that time they did somehow manage able to fix that issue that certain Wii U owners, myself included, have encountered. So... Anyway, so now we've actually got the next blueprint right here, thanks to the forms of that particular teleport pad that I somehow finally found. So, anywho though, so yeah, apart from those side of things though, is the fact that, and also I do remember that time when they first announced by the forms of the actual virtual console games will be brought back to the Wii U, but it wasn't until that, oh shoot, I just realized, is the fact that unfortunately though, since we're still on 2023 right now, this also means, unfortunately, we've only got about roughly 2 months left now until the eShop services for both the Wii U and the 3DS shopping apps will be closed down forever. So, that's not a good sign. But, at the very least, we got all of the bananas for Lanky Kong right here, so that should be all good to go. At least for the most part, anyway. Oh, and I also do remember that time when they first briefly mentioned about the forms of the new Super Smash Bros. Is going to be on its way, until when it gets to the point until E3 2013, when they managed able to announce it, like, not only for the Wii U, but also on the 3DS as well, which it became true. And also I do remember that time when they first mentioned about the forms of the brand new Mario game, during at some point, which later becomes Super Mario 3D World, until also in E3 2013 as well. So, either way though, I suppose I'll let someone else mention more about it until when it gets to the point until in June for this year. Until likely or so, if depending of the this year's E3 will make it happen. So anyways, let's go ahead and climb up here and able to tackle through what else? Another minigame challenge. And this time we're able to deal with Tithering Turtle Trouble. So basically though, once again we have to use the watermelon barrel cannons to do this minigame, and this time you need able to feed those snakes, because every time when they say help, this means you must able to feed them, because otherwise if you don't feed them at all, basically your challenge will be failed. So, and you have to be fast on this part, because not only do you have to be like super reflex on that specific part, but also it's the fact that you need to like let the time run out, because otherwise if the time runs out then you win. However, if you let your turtle decide to tumble over, you have to start all over. So yeah, looks like we're doing so well anyway though, but again it gets a bit harder as you progress, so don't expect things to be too easy anytime soon. So there we go. That was definitely a little bit tricky right there at first glance, but thankfully we've achieved it and accomplished it at the same time. So yeah, only one more golden banana left for not only for Lanky Kong, but also Chunky Kong as well. And so we basically conclude the forms of the golden bananas department for the sake of the forms of Angry Aztec. So looking all pretty swell, if I have to say so. Oh yeah, and I also do remember that time when they first revealed the next Marvel and Soft game that's in development for the Wii U, which originally it calls it X, but then eventually later became Xenoblade Chronicles X, which, by the way, that game has not been ported onto the Switch yet. So I'm guessing by that time is the fact that it might be still stuck on the Wii U for this point in time. So anyway, so speaking of such though, let me go ahead and aim for this last banana balloon in Angry Aztec, and there we go. I think we actually got every single bananas for the likes of the forms of Angry Aztec at this point right now. So looking all pretty good. Oh, wait a second, we're still missing the last few bananas for Chunky Kong. Oh, jeez. I wasn't exactly paying attention to that. But, assuming if we're able to try to find specific spots, like specifically some buttons of staircases, then hopefully we will be able to find the last 6 green bananas for Chunky Kong. So, speaking of such, here they are, right here, onto the left staircase, alongside with the right staircases as well. So, hopefully we're able to obtain them all. So there we go. Now we've actually completed everything in Angry Aztec. So nicely done. Now before we leave the world, we need to go ahead and deliver those blueprints to this Snide fellow right here. And once again watch this particular crazy contraption of his. So I wonder what's it going to be for this time. Oh, it's like an orange basketball kind of thing. Okay, that's actually interesting. So yeah, we're now on to 83 golden bananas. Nicely done. And then we double check what's on here. And of course I need to switch over to Lanky Kong at this point, because, well, he might be the only one left for able to actually get this whole world completely done. So yeah, let's quickly switch over towards him. Oh yeah, and also I do remember that time about the fact that back in 10 years ago, roughly, that he did, yeah, Shiwada Iwata did somehow mention something related to the forms of, that the Game Boy Advance games are coming to the Virtual Console surfaces for the Wii U, and I was very excited about it. Now, despite how exciting that is, although every nowadays now is the fact that most people usually play Game Boy Advance games during the forms of the emulator at this point right now, because, you know, trying to able to actually access the emulator is actually self-explanatory for some degrement. But anyway, now we've pretty much delivered every single of those blueprints for Snide, so we'll just double check on the checklist, so just to ensure that we've got everything. And sure enough, we have. So, nicely done. Alongside with those 2 banana fairies, so none of them were actually missing. So, looking good. So let's go ahead and exit out the level by simply just quick access to the pulse menu. So, 84 bananas, so that should be enough until we're able to actually get access to other worlds. Now, before we leave this particular area, I just got to make sure I need to double check on something quickly. Because, as far as I'm aware, there's another feather switch in here. In order to get in here though, I'm pretty sure we do need that specific Kong in order to be able to actually access that particular point. Although it seems kind of pointless to do this, but I'm just going to show you what that means though, which either way, as soon as we switch over to Chunky Kong right here, and you do realize about the fact that this particular entrance right there to the secret route, that pretty much leads us to forms of, what else, a giant familiar column as we saw from the likes of the Angry Aztec from earlier, and on top of that there's the forms of some zingers that we do definitely need to kill. Oh god, that zinger's almost trying to able to intimidate me at first glance, but we somehow managed able to pull this out. And sure enough, there's the Chunky's special barrel that we can able to actually entering into, which I'm pretty sure if you somehow manage to become huge and stuff like that, I think this might actually guarantees me to able to step on here, and, well, this actually activates. Basically what this means though is the fact that, well, you're able to actually access to another Wiggly Kong's door for some another advice. So, seems kind of pointless, but at least that's something you might able to actually be curious about. Okay, so relatively speaking, 3 worlds down and only quite a few to go. So, I can't believe by saying this that we almost to a point that we've almost at the halfway point of the game right now. So, I can't believe that this playthrough has actually gone a lot quicker than I was expecting. Despite there are some slow moments here and there. But anyway, let's go and dive in here. And exponentially, we can probably get into... Oh god, is this world coming up? Oh boy. I'll get to my massive criticism with this world coming up at some point on Wednesday. But first off, let me go ahead and take care of this enemy right here. Despite I just keep on getting hit twice. But yeah, we'll take him down to get, of course, another blueprint. So we can essentially save that for later. And I'm thinking this particular switch right there will be important for later, so... But let's not worry about that right now, so... Anyways, let's go through that particular... this little fella right here once again. So, yeah. Looks like we do need to acquire about 30 golden bananas. And a good thing we've got enough of them, just to ensure that we will be able to actually access to... Oh boy. Potentially speaking though, this world right here is by far one of my least favorites in the whole game. And I think, suffice to say for this point, that we're gonna have to be able to end things off this point right here. So yeah, join me next time for more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong 64. Is the fact that we're gonna be dived right into my least favorite world in the game. And I'm sure most people already know what this is going on. That's what appears to be buddy forms of Gloomy Galleon, so... Oh boy, wish me luck on this world, because believe me, this world is gonna be massive, and it's tedious, and also has the most annoying mechanic in the whole entire thing, so... Oh boy, believe me, this might take a bit while, especially because now we've actually access to every Kong in the game. This also means multiple bananas to collect, and a lot of emphasis on, you know, backtracking and stuff, and it's just... It might not be that fun. It might not be that fun at all, and something tells me we need to get a lot of emphasis on swimming. Or should I say, we need to do a lot of swimming. So I'll see you guys until on Wednesday. I underestimated those Kongs. Their progress is unexpected. Chief Technologism. I trust the Blast-O-Matic will soon be ready to be activated. We had a huge technical problems, Your Majesty, and my men are all lazy. He's lying, sir. He's always asleep. Please forgive me, oh great one. We've worked really hard. Guards, make sure no one leaves until my machine is ready. Got to make a run for it.